Hello and welcome to the first ever My Team career mode here on F125 on My City YouTube channel. As you see here, I'm just going through all the settings for this series. I'm doing 85 AI, I'm doing no assists. I'm not the best driver, that's why I'm doing 85 AI. So if you guys have any suggestions for if I should do a higher level AI or some settings that you want me to do, please leave those down in the comments so I can fix that. I really want as much feedback as possible because I want to know what you guys want to see. So please let me know. Also, feel free to skip past this part. This is just me showing all the settings that I have. The start of the technical actual video will be at the beginning. Right, so we are ready to begin by finalizing those settings. And now this is where the real fun starts to get. We start to create our own team here, as I am absolutely stoked and excited for this.
As the owner of the newest team in F1, your first job should be introducing yourself to the team.
So I have decided to go ahead and pick the name of John Johnson. I know, what an absolute thriller of a name. Anyways, I've also decided to pick this person to be me because I think he looks great.
Now we know a bit more about you. Let's explore your background ahead of our first season. Hey there, my name's Andrew. I'm your head of personnel. It'd be useful for the team to know a bit more about your background. Give them a sense of how you intend to lead our efforts.
So for this, I decided to go ahead and I had a lot of I didn't know how I want to do. I didn't really want to do people manager, but I was like head engineer or chief officer. Either one sounds good. Extra cash or extra R&D. But after a lot of thought, I went ahead and decided to do um, head engineer just because I think that gives us the best possible benefit.
And tell us a bit about this HQ. How well developed are the facilities here ahead of our debut season?
For here, I gave it a lot of thought, but I decided to do basic.
Hello, Mathis, head of your engineering facility. Let's discuss where we think we are in terms of car performance.
And I'm gonna do no development again because I believe for all across all platforms, I think starting from the bottom is really just a good thing for us, just for you guys to be more enjoyable and for me.
Hey, boss. I'm Anissa. I head things up in your corporate facility. Let's discuss our financial situation.
And again, I'm gonna pick none because let's make things hard on myself. Because I think that's a slightly more realistic.
Right. With all that out of the way, our next task is to finalize our team's visual identity, our official name and branding.
So for the name here, I decided to go ahead and call it Conment or Conmet. Sorry, Conmet. I guess you could say Conmet GP or Conmet Racing, but I just decided to say Conmet, and I chose the colors of darkish red, black, and white just because I think those colors honestly look sick. In general, just in general, and for the design, I really went back and forth, but I thought an upside down eagle, that's weird and interesting and kind of looks weird. So let's do that.
Next up, there's an amount of contract work we need to get nailed down. First, we need to settle on our title sponsor. This will represent a key source of income over the coming season. We have a few potential sponsors lined up. Each contract splits our income in 3 ways. A signing bonus that we receive now, a weekly income paid over the course of the season, and finally, a bonus at the end of the season, if we achieve the goals set out in the contract.
So after a lot of thought, I decided to do Exxon because I like the deal the best and I just like the way it looks.
Secondly, we have to make a call on which engine supplier we want to work with this. Generally speaking, our choices can be defined as a trade-off between performance and durability, with the caveat that neither come cheap.
So here, I decided to do Mercedes just because I think it's the best for the price and quality.
And finally, let's talk drivers. Obviously, we need two of them. Each driver's performance is measured in a number of ways. Experience counts for a lot, and drivers with more on-track experience will have an advantage over less experienced competitors. Racecraft describes a driver's ability to work their way through the pack to finish the race higher up than where they started. Awareness represents the driver's skill at avoiding the steward's room. The higher this stat, the less likely they are to pick up warnings and penalties. Pace is a measure of sheer speed. Outside of battling their opponents, how good are they at pulling out consistent fast laps? All these stats contribute to the driver's overall rating, while focus represents their current state of mind and how well they're leveraging their rating out on track.
So after careful consideration, I decided to do Richard Vachor as our number one driver because he has good focus and I just think he's the best overall driver.
That all looks solid. Good choices and all within our budget. Feel free to review your choices if you want, but otherwise I think we can move on. Finally, we need to approve our race gear. Don't worry about sponsors just yet, we'll add them later. For now, let's just focus on the livery design and suits.
I also forgot to mention in the driver area where we signed our drivers that I also got Crawford, I think his name was. I signed Drac Crawford because I think that he is good and he's American, so I just cut him out. Also, moving on to our livery, I decided I think this looks sick. Black, red, and white, unbelievable. I think it looks amazing in terms of a car, especially from the side profile and looking at it from the front. I just think it looks great, personally. Maybe not too well from the side. And for the race suit, I went ahead and decided to do black, white, and red as per usual. Same for the gloves because just keep everything the same. I think that it looks great personally. I don't know about you guys. If you guys think I should change anything about the race suit, let me know. I probably won't change a whole lot, but if you send me a good idea, I'll definitely at least consider it.
I think that's everything, boss. If you're happy with all of this, give us the nod, and we'll get everything moving. And if not, feel free to go back and review your choices.
As we move on to the opener or the presentation of our livery.
Hello and welcome to this very special live stream. Great to be with you all because today we're going to witness history.
That's absolutely right, Natalie, because for so many years we've wondered exactly what 11 teams would look like on the grid. Guess what? Today is the day we find out.
And we are here at the team's state-of-the-art HQ. We'll be seeing their brand new car very soon, but behind every team, behind every car, there's one person central to it all.
Yes, and they've been described as somewhat of an engineering genius, coming up with all the ideas to push the car and the sport to its limits. The question is, though, will they be able to step out of their comfort zone to deal with all the things that come with being a leader, dealing with the team's finances, sponsors, motivating the team and the drivers? Will they be able to juggle that, or will they drop the ball?
And we'll be seeing more behind the scenes as the season progresses. But of course, it is all about what happens on track. So, without further ado, let's see the fruits of their labor, the brand new 2025 car.
Well, thank you all for joining us. The team have done an incredible job. The car looks sensational.
It certainly does. Congratulations, and all the very best for the season ahead.
Welcome to your Team HQ. This is the hub of the team's operations, and it's probably worth having a look around, familiarizing yourself with the different areas you'll be responsible for directing. You can use these options to... Oh, and as
As it stands, we already have some resource points, data from testing, that we can use to kickstart our research efforts. We just need to know where you want us to start. Let's go pick an upgrade to research. This is where we choose our research projects. Research and development are split into 4 departments: aero, powertrain, chassis, and you pick one of these departments, and let's go choose the first research project.
So for research, I decided to go straight ahead and do front wing aero because I think that's what we need.
Copy that. That feels like a good place to start. I'll get the research team on it.
I also decided to do some chassis upgrades and I think a powertrain upgrade as well. I just did not show it, but I did do that for research, not a development research.
The research group have delivered us a design, but we need to actually build the thing if it's going to be of any use. And for that, we have the development group. This is where we turn the engineer's dreams into reality. Here's the upgrade we've researched. Select it to start development. So it's up to you whether to kick this development off now or not. But when you do, you'll want to consider how you want to develop it. Certain options won't be available until you've invested a bit more into improving this facility. But the important thing to think about is that you need to develop 2 copies of the part, one for each of your driver's cars. If you only have a single part when you get to a Grand Prix, you'll need to visit the Assign Upgrades area to decide which driver's car to prioritize.
So for the development, I'm happy that we can at least get one development on the car before Australia, the first race of the season. I'm pretty sure this will be developed in time for the race. However, the powertrain and chassis upgrades, unfortunately, I don't think I started them in time, and they will not be able to be on the car for the Australian Grand Prix. I think they might be on the car in time for China, which is a week after, but I'm not sure. But we'll see as we go to the grid reveal. Sorry about that. The audio just didn't quite come through, as you can see on the grid reveal. Actually, didn't quite come through. Didn't come through at all. So I'm very sorry about that. Hopefully, I don't know that I can't redo it. So that's unfortunate. But as we move on to the Australian Grand Prix.
Hey, Chief. We have a part or 2 ready for development because they finished research. Let's get that in motion, shall we? Head to engineering for more info.
As you can see there, those are, I believe, the parts for, yes, chassis. Those are the parts for chassis that I had. They won't come through. They won't be developed in time for the Australian Grand Prix. But as you can see there, they will be in time for China. So that's a brilliant upgrade that will hopefully, I don't know, 2 or 3 upgrades on the car by China is not the amazing, but it is it's not horrible. And I think if we keep developing the car in a relatively steady pace, that will be good. I have played around with the idea of kind of saving up and going for major upgrades, but as I looked around, I was like, you kind of have to unlock the certain upgrades before you can do that, which is a bit unfortunate, but I actually like it because it actually makes it a bit more realistic. In real life, you can't just come out with a massive upgrade that just changes a lot of things. You kind of have to wait, and then eventually you can. So just waiting for that to happen.
We have something for you to look at, please.
So it wants us to choose between Vashore and Crawford, and I went ahead and chose Vashore because I think he is our number one driver, and I'm just giving him priority for now. I'm obviously driving as Crawford because I want to drive as the American, and I think that'd be just pretty cool. As we see, the development for our front wing has come in, I believe. Yes, it has come in, and that is the research part, the next research part for Aero that I selected, and it will be coming in after China. So very glad that we'll get a couple Aero upgrades on pretty early on the car.
When you only have a single part developed, you need to decide which of your drivers gets it. Think carefully. Who can make best use of it to maximize our weekend performance? But also consider how each of your drivers might feel about the decision. If you have enough parts for both cars, don't worry. We'll fit them to both cars automatically. We'll only ask you to make the call when there's actually a decision to make.
So, as I said earlier, I think Vashore, I'm going to choose him as our number one driver. So I think we'll just choose him for this part because I think that's just the best action for us so far. And I just think that he's going to be more consistent than Crawford. Even though I am driving as Crawford, I will drive as Vashore sometimes. So I just think assigning it to Vashore is just our best bet. As we can see on the R&D chart, we are massively behind Kick Sauber, which is the second to worst car. So this is absolutely not a good start of the season. But as you can see, it's a new team. So of course it's not going to be a good start of the season. New teams almost never. Also, for development, we are developing pistons that will be ready for... I don't know. I didn't look at the map. But they should be ready before China? No, after China. They should be ready after China. So that will be great. As we get into the Australian Grand Prix.
Right, the car's ready. Let's get it out there.
So here we go into the first qualifying session of the season. I decided to do mediums because I figured let's just set a bank lap on the mediums. So I got out there. I couldn't quite get the front left completely warm, as you can see there. It's still slightly cold, which was quite unfortunate. But I'm excited to see what the first car is going to look like in terms of qualifying and just general overall pace. As we can see, just quite getting a little bit of understeer into that corner. Maybe me just not getting on the brakes enough. As I've said, I'm not the best driver, but still, just the car I didn't just feel real great in the car. I got an okay exit out of there, but I still wasn't feeling real great with this car. Maybe some of it is because this is the first time I've ever played F125, but some of it is also I just didn't feel a whole lot comfortable with it. And this corner, for me, was where I think I really could have done a little bit better. I think just too much sliding around, maybe. Some of it might have been a medium, maybe it wasn't grippy enough. But I was feeling okay about it. I was like, okay, it's not gonna be a terrible lap on maybe the 21st or 20th, which is not good actually. But as by far the worst car, I wouldn't be too mad with 220. and we come to line here, and I was thinking, okay, and it was P8,
Okay,
as
we
it
can
is
take you
an
this lap.
okay lap, but obviously it's not the beginning. And as you see here, I actually didn't get out in time for my second lap. Horrible mistake on my end. Absolutely worst mistake I could have done, probably, on the first day of the game. And so I am now down in P22 because of that horrendous mistake. And I believe our teammate is in P21 or P20. And so just a horrible first qualifying for us. Just unbelievably bad how we just couldn't do anything. As we see Lewis Hamilton going first in this section, and his teammate down in 11th, 2.1 seconds off of his time. So maybe he just didn't do his second lap or something, or I don't know, but that's insane difference to me, personally. But I'm just dumbfounded by this horrible qualifying by us. P20 and P21 and P20. That is just unexcusable. As you can see, I only got the lap on the mediums, so I'm much slower. As we go to race weekend.
The winter is over. It's time for Formula One 2025. Yes, that long break that you've all been coping with so well can now be put to the back of your minds. It's on-track action and it's off-track drama. That's what we're looking forward to. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Piastri, Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda, and Hamilton, Russell, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Esteban Ocon, Albon, Lawson, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Gasly, Stroll, Bortoletto, Nico Hulkenberg, and Jack Doohan, Hadjar, Behrman, Vershaw, and Jack Crawford rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And joining me in the commentary box once again, Naomi Schiff. Hi, Gnomes. New season, new dawn, and now 22 cars and 11 teams on the grid.
First of all, this is such an exciting time. I mean, to have an 11th team on the grid is exciting news for the sport. But for them today, I guess you would be really nervous. It's the first time you're going to be doing this. There is so much to learn. But at the end of the day, they've got to remember that expectations aren't that high. They've all been there before. They've all had their first race, and no one is expecting them to land on the top of the podium. So just learn to walk before you can run.
I know you gutted to be starting from here, but just focus on putting that and some other cars behind you. Good luck.
So for strategy here, I figured that the tire wear was going to be quite high. So I decided to go with a 3-star strategy. Medium, soft, hard. Hopefully
Okay, pull the clutch in.
this
Hold it there
strategy
until the
works
start.
out okay
Right,
for
feeling the
us.
throttle.
I'm not
Let's build the
exactly
revs.
too confident about this race. I'm thinking, max maybe P18, maybe. I don't know. Something crazy happens, and we get up to
Clutch out, we're green.
P15, maybe. I'm not too confident. As you know, I'm still learning this game, and I'm not the quickest driver to begin with. So I'm really going to need to lean on not only the car's development, but also a little bit of luck. And the car isn't developed, and I don't even know if we can get any luck. So it's not looking too great here. As I begin my formation lap, I'm just trying to get some heat into those tires, just trying to warm them up because they're very cold. And as you can see here, oh my days, I mean, the fronts are like ice cubes. Like, I could not warm these things up at all, which is basically all my fault, because I was not focused on that. at all. This is a horrible way to start the first race. Last and second to last, and I have 4 laps. Anyways, here we go for the Australian Grand Prix. Lights out. And away we go for the Australian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen gets a good getaway. Back to our field, we get a decent getaway. We're trying to climb through those gears as I see an open up. We dive down the inside like an absolute rocket ship, having no respect for Gasly at all. That was completely my fault. I should have absolutely done something better than that. As we see the Gasly POV, I just come in like a rocket ship. That is unexcusable for myself, and that's a horrible way to start my first Grand Prix. This is not looking good at all. As we see from Behrman, look at that. That's completely my fault. And I don't know what I was thinking. So hopefully it changes, to be honest. As we go back to Max Verstappen's POV, as he gets a good getaway, as we'll go back down to Lando. Lando just does not get a good getaway at all. And Piastri gets him, so he settles back down into third, but it might be fourth. But Tsunoda's coming back, and Tsunoda's coming through, trying to take that third place spot. Goes around the outside, keeps putting a little bit. Clean, respectful racing, nice to see. And Tsunoda will get the place. Going back to RPOV, back from lap 1. Well, we are currently on lap 1. I am honestly just trying to catch up to doing here, trying to get DRS, trying to not be last place. I'm trying to just catch up here. And I'm not the best when it comes to racing in clean air. I just not very good when I don't have a reference. As you can see, I just run wide there, leaving us a lot of time. And so this is really not good for me. If there's other cars around, I am a much faster driver. But when it's clean air, qualifying one, if it's clean air in a race, I have horrible pace, as you'll definitely see in this video. I'm sliding the car around, just trying to get this thing to turn on a full tank of gas. As we go down, this is my favorite turn here. Get a little bit of lock into the gravel again, almost sliding around there a bit. So as you can see, we're just losing time left and right, and I just can't catch up to doing. I mean, I know it's 4 seconds, so it's going to be a couple laps, but just look, wide there again. I'm not driving fast at all. I could definitely be driving way faster. So this is definitely not ideal in any way, no matter how you look at it.
DRS is being enabled.
DRS is now enabled this lap, but it doesn't matter because I'm so far away from any DRS or any hope of life here. But as you can see at the top right, I maybe up about 1/8 of a second on doing, which is looking good. Trying to get the car rotated. Oh, and it's just spinning out. It's just the front end just has to step out of it and just keeps getting a little loosey-goosey here, and the car just is feeling a bit understeery. It's not feeling as nice as it usually does. I get a better exit than I did the first lap, but it's still not the best exit I could have gotten. But I am gaining time on doing. It is now about 2.7 seconds. As look at that, 2 laps in, I already have 11% wear on my lead and 8% on my front left tire. And it's just, I mean, I did set a purple sector, middle sector, but I mean, look at that. That's track limits. I got a warning already, and it's the second lap. This is definitely not a good thing. As Max Verstappen, not surprisingly, says the fastest lap in the Red Bull, who seems to be not so struggling as we are in real life now. Anyways, as we go to focus back on our race, I'm now about 2 seconds undoing, as you can see there. I was getting pretty close there, but that second to last turn, I'm not comfortable with it. But we do set a pretty good lap time, in my opinion, and we are catching doing. Look at that, we're 1.4 away from doing, which is very encouraging. As we go down to this corner is really hard to get rotation, as you can see, which is just not quite wanting to rotate through. And slam on the gas here, and try to catch doing here. We're about one second away, as you guys can see, and just didn't get the best effects again. I think if I definitely would have gotten a better exit there, I would have lost. Look, I lost 2/10 there, and this unclean racing by myself is just really costing me valuable time. as we go through this section, which is hard to do with full tank gas. And look at there. Second warning for track limits, and we just lost all the time. We were in DRS and we just lost time back. So second
You might
warning,
experience
and
some understeer now
just
that you're in the wake of the
horrible
car
on the
ahead.
track
Try to
limits
get
there.
past as soon as possible.
So it is not looking good whatsoever for us here. As we try to catch Doohan, we're about 1.2 away, but we won't be able to get DRS, will we? I don't, that's not enough. We will not be able to get DRS. But we are gaining, which is definitely a plus. As we focus in on Hulkenberg's POV, absolutely sends it around the outside of Gasly. Gasly's race actually surprisingly isn't as ruined as I thought after absolutely crashing into it, because he is in P15. As we go to Antonelli P10, not a good race start for him, but Ocon in P10, that is a great race start for him. Sainz and Williams, P9, very good. Hamilton, P8, I don't think he's pleased with that. That's not real great. Alonso in P7, that's a lot better than real life. And Russell, obviously, way better than his teammate. And Leclerc, better than his teammate as well. Both of them are fairly ahead of their teammates. As Lando, he's behind Tsunoda. That's gotta be uncomfortable for him. And he's behind his teammate, who's borderline his rival. But oh my goodness, Max Verstappen, he is so far ahead. As we go down to Piastri trying to defend from Tsunoda. Tsunoda goes around the outside, but now he'll have the inside for this corner. Piastri kind of tries to keep it neat and tight around the outside, but it's not going to be enough. And Tsunoda moves up a place into P2, Red Bull 1-2. As we focus back into our POV, this is on lap 4. As you can see here, I'm catching Doohan. I'm catching him. But oh my, we almost lose it. Almost crash straight into the wall. There's a big snap on the rear end. Almost lost it. Almost sent flying straight into the wall. But I still think we can close up to in here. As we focus back on Piastri PvP. Piastri round the outside of Tsunoda. Beautiful move there. Round the outside. Hard overtake. As you can kind of see, it's kind of like his real life one as he had on Lewis Hamilton. And he will keep that position, and he will be P2, ruining the Red Bull 1-2. As we focus back to us, we are
we can change strategy if you want. Check your
2
MFD
seconds
details.
basically behind Jack Doohan, and we're just losing time everywhere. And as you can see, the tire wear is getting so bad that our engineer is saying, come on, we gotta change the strategy. But I said, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that, just because I thought I knew better. Which I think that moving to a one-stop strategy after doing a 2-stop because your tires are worn just doesn't make sense to me. So that was my thinking. My thinking was like, yes, I know one of mine is soft, and it is going to wear out faster, but it's better than having 2 tires, you know?
You're going to be on softs.
And so the engineer, as you can hear, is telling me that the pit window is coming up from the pit of a soft. I think the pit window was around lap 7, maybe 8. But I'm thinking, alright, I need to catch Doohan. Here's where I need to catch Doohan. I need to catch Doohan right here. Because I need to get at least some clean air, and I need to pull away. When a driver's behind me, I'm better in clean air when I'm
no issues with
last.
tyre wear for
Like,
now.
if I can see a driver behind me, I'm quite a bit fast. As you can see when a driver's in front of me, I'm kind of going a little bit faster when I can see Doohan than when I can't. When I couldn't, man, I was moving, but I wasn't moving as fast as I could. I definitely could have been a bit quicker in the first 3 laps. I was just sending it around the outside. You can see we're kind of like sliding through there, needing ERS to get the power on. As we move to Leclerc's POV, Leclerc, what is he going to do here? As he absolutely sends it down the inside of Norris. And Norris is going to see, I don't think he's going to defend that. I know Leclerc moving to P4. So Norris's race, starting from P3, is absolutely ruined. As we focus back into Albon POV. Albon getting sent around the outside by Gasly, but he still has an excellent job just defending it there. As we move back to our POV, this is lap 6. I think this is roughly where we left off. And I'm getting closer to Doohan here. As you can see, Albon is all the way back into 20, is all the way last. We will get to that shortly. I just, this car just, just kind of wrestling the car around there. It almost gave up on me, almost wiggled out. As you can see, here I just need to apply ERS to try to get up to him, just try to get into DRS rank. Because I think as soon as I get into DRS rank, that should be good. But unfortunately, we are hitting this lap, and I do not think doing it on the same strategy. As we focus back to Tsunoda in P3, going round the outside of Piastri. Unbelievable overtake. What a move by Tsunoda. It is a very similar move to what Piastri just did to him. Same place. So the AI seems to love that area. As we focus back on RPV, absolutely sending it down the inside of Jack Doolan. What an overtake. Just sending around the outside, but Jack Doolan comes back at us. Doolan, he's not done yet, but we send it around the outside and we say, not today. As you can see, the back end tries to get a little loosey-goosey, a little squirrely at the end. And I decided, hey, I do want to do another lap, but I'll just go ahead and stick with the strategy that I have. And I'll just hit this lap. Even though I really want to fight Doolan, I was like, I'll just hit this lap. I know I can set some really fast laps on these cars. Let's see what kind of a pit stop it is for us. As, oh my days, the front right tire. Unbelievable work. That's a 4.6 second stop. That is a horrible stop. And it doesn't help that I took a couple seconds to release it because I was so dumbfounded by what a horrible pit crew. This is the first race of the season and we can't get the tire on. Are you serious? But now it's just time for me to put my head down and close that gap to Albon or Doolan, trying to just close that gap, trying to close it down. I'm obviously the first one or second one, I think, of the entire race to pit, which means that I really need to put some fast times in on these soft tires. And thankfully, I did save up some ERS for this, as I'm gonna need it, because as you can see here, dipping the right tire into the graph, we are just way far enough back that at this point in the race, I was like, nah, I don't think we're even gonna finish in the top 21. AKA, I think we were gonna finish top last or dead last, not top last. What am I saying? I think that we just didn't have the pace this race, and as you can see by the mini map, I am closer to Verstappen. I think Verstappen's closer to me than I am to my teammate. As you can see in red, that's horrible. That's horrible pace. As you can see, our teammate just running there through the first sector. This is not good pace by myself, and I'm absolutely horrible. As we go to Hulkenberg's POV, just sends it around the outside of Lawson. Great overtake by Hulkenberg. You already had two fantastic overtakes today. Hulkenberg absolutely flying today in the Kit Sauber, which is an absolute tractor on our car, I'm kidding, it's a tractor. And we go to Behrman's BLV. Wow, the AI really loves this overtake, and he gets the move done on Agile. So both Racing Bulls being taken over on the lap. And whoa, what is that? That is Albon. Oh, this is from lap 5. This is Albon from lap 5. As you can see, he got a puncture, so he had to pit. That's why you saw him earlier in P22, because he had to pit. As we focus on Piastri, and we do it again, deja vu for Piastri, round the outside. Can he actually get the move done over Tsunoda? And it looks like he'll be able to keep that move. And as we focus back in our POV, here is the point in the race where I'm telling myself I can do this. And then I realized my teammate is spinning. And so I'm like, let's catch him. Because if I can't have fun, I don't want my team, no, I'm kidding. I want us to have the best result possible. But here, I'm just saying, hey, look, if I get close to my teammate, that's going to be some reassurance because I'm not absolutely a tractor today. But yes, I'm a tractor today. I'm 7 seconds behind our teammate. And I've been putting around laps on top. So this lap has definitely been not the best. And I think that, this stint has definitely not been the best. And so I think that we should come in soon to get these tires off, see if the hards will do well. But at the same time, I am putting in relatively fast time compared to my mediums. So maybe I'm just saying it's not a good time because I pitted so early and nobody's around me. And so I'm thinking maybe we stay out for even more laps. Maybe I stay out till maybe lap 13 or 14, or maybe even 15. I think 15 just doesn't make sense. Because why would you pit on the hard for 5 laps when you had softs for like not that many? Oh my goodness, it's a horrible, horrible mistake by us. That's just inexcusable. As we go to Leclerc, wow, getting holy, this car just wow against Tsunoda, and we go to Leclerc again on lap 8, and he just sends it around the outside of Piastri. That's the AI's definitely the AI's favorite overtaking spot. And will Piastri have enough to come back at him? Leclerc goes to defensive, and Leclerc gets the move done. As we focus on Norris, he hasn't been doing much this race, but yes, he has. Never mind, he just whipped it around the outside of Tsunoda. So Tsunoda, he's been overtaken way too many times in this race, which is not good. He's down in P5, I think. That is way worse, as we almost do the back end.
Battery charge is
and
high.
this is the part of the race where I'm like, hey, I'm going to stay out. I was supposed to pit at lap 13. I was like, nope, I'm going to pit maybe 14 or 15. And so that is not really a gutsy call because there's nothing on the line, but that's a call, you know. And
box this
so,
lap, please. Box this lap.
as you can see here, my engineer is telling me to box. But since I'm American, I decided to do my own thing, happy in defense by the way. As we see Verstappen diving into the pits. Let's see what kind of stop time he has. He'll be pitting from the lead, of course. It's a decent stop time, maybe, I don't know, 2.5, 3 seconds. That's a pretty good stop time. It's not nothing to be proud of, to be honest. But he does have a big enough lead that it really doesn't matter at this point. As long as there's no red flag or safety car. As we see Russell come into the pits, that's a pretty decent stuff. I'd say a little bit faster than Red Bull, so he'll get out there, maybe trying to do, I don't know, get an undercut going. As we see Leclerc dives into the pits on those hard tires, hitting to medium. So Leclerc is coming in 1 lap after Russell. Russell was on mediums, and Leclerc was on hards. So I guess that kind of makes sense, given that I guess he's trying to split it right down the middle, but to me, that just kind of, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me. As we jump to the Papayas running 1-2, Norris and Piastri, but obviously they have not pitted yet off of the hards. Hamilton running 3rd, Verstappen already up to 4th. Are you kidding me? He is pitted, and the 3 in front of him have not pitted. He's going to be so far in front of him. As if we dip the tire into the grass, it's just bad mistakes. It doesn't really matter because we're pitting, and we are so far behind. As we dive into the pits to see, let's see what kind of stop time we can get here. Hopefully a lot better than last time, because if we don't, this is going to be really bad for our race, as if our race is absolutely shafted already. And yes, it is a much better stop time. That is way better, release, way better. No guy that I need to probably fire. I wish I could fire him on the game, honestly. Because what do you mean you're doing a 4-second pit stop on your first ever pit stop? More than 4 seconds. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously. Anyways, let's focus back in on our race here. Getting on the hard tires, I'm not lying, they were really cold. Coming out of pits. So I was like really gingerly on the gas here. I was trying to, you know, see if I could catch up to Doohan, see if something's gonna happen to Doohan, but no. At this point, it's just hope. As we focus on Norris, gaining on Russell around the outside, and he gets it. So that tends to be the AI's preferred overtaking spot, as you can see. Focusing back on our POV on lap 15, I think Norris's overtake was on lap 14, 13. Anyways, it's kind of mumble-jumbled up because the AI is kind of boring. Anyways, Alonso heading round the outside of Tsunoda. Tsunoda gets overtaken for, what is that, the 4th or 5th time at the same place. So goodness gracious. Maybe the reason the AI loves this overtake spot so much is just watching Tsunoda. As Tsunoda tries to come back at Alonso, but Alonso's defense always going to keep him out of that. And Alonso gets the move up. As we focus back to us, this is lap 16, so I don't know, maybe a lap and a half later. We are just not doing well, and this is the moment where Max Verstappen caught up to me, and I was like, okay, blue flag. I don't know why I let him go here and not later or earlier, but I let him go there. As you can see on this, from his view, I caused a bit of a problem. As you can see, he kind of wiggles there, or wiggles, sorry. He kind of like shakes there because he almost crashed into us. But thankfully he didn't. If he would have crashed, I would have felt so bad because that's ruining someone's race like that. That's just not okay. Anyways, as you can see, our front right tire is still full of ice, which is very disappointing. Because how are we gonna have so much tire wear and it's gonna be ice cold? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but at the same time, like, if we're gonna have so much tire wear, at least help us get the tire temperatures up. But this car says no, because it's a tractor. Anyways, moving on to Norris. Norris gaining on his teammate, maybe his rival. Well, here we go again. Another area where the AI really likes to overtake, aka this area. Right there. The AI pretty much only likes to overtake him. That's like, I've only seen 2 or 3 other overtakes that are not there. So that's pretty impressive. As we go to Norris's POV, he gets the move done. As we go to our teammate running in P20. So yes, he's not dead last. He's so far ahead of us. That is so embarrassing. But oh no, what is happening here? Oh my days, he's going so slowly. Oh my days, it looks like a retirement from our teammate. So the first race we run P22 and a DNF. This is a horrible start for the race. I thought choosing Mercedes powertrain was a good idea, but apparently not. Maybe in this alternate universe of F1, Mercedes is not. As we focus back on the last lap of the race, Piastri does not go for a move there like we've seen AI love to do recently. But this is the last lap of the race. Maybe he can take it away from his teammate or rival or potential rival, as he doesn't even try to dive down the inside. I don't know what he was thinking there. So Norris is gonna come home and take the last podium place as we go to Max Verstappen. Absolute dominance. Absolute dominance. 10 seconds ahead of everybody else. Max Verstappen wins the Australian Grand Prix. Leclerc coming in as second. Norris, then Piastri to pick up P3 and P4. What a dominant race from Verstappen. Not so much from the other Red Bull Sonoda. But anyways, Russell, then finally Sonoda in P6, Alonso, and then Hamilton and Ocon getting P9, and Sainz getting the last point finishing spot. Pretty good day in the office for the Alpine and for the Williams and the Haas, as we come home to finish a P1.
Blue flag.
It says P20.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way
Here,
in.
which is pretty weird, because I was a blue flag, so I technically had one more lap, but since Leclerc was right behind me, it just finished my race for me. So maybe I didn't finish last, but we all know I did finish last, so that's
We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again, because it's victory for Max Verstappen.
Well, they kept us guessing during pre-season testing. We all wondered who it was going to be, and to have them drawn out here today, that they are the ones to beat, just goes to show that all the work they put in has really counted.
Only 3 can take to the podium, and here they come. But there can only be one on the top step. Your number 1, Max Verstappen. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
As we go to the race results, Lando losing the grid to P2 to P3, Leclerc jumping up from 4th to 2nd. But unfortunately, just the DNF and us finishing in P20 just unbelievable finish. As in, I'm the only one who got lapped. It's just a horrible race weekend. But thank you so much for watching. As you can see, the constructors here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.